Hello and welcome to Happy Horror Time. My name is Tim Murdoch.
And my name is Matt Emmerd. Welcome to another edition of our news commentary, our horror news commentary. Tim, this ain't no like evening eyewitness news.
Or E-News.
Tim, give me the weather for this week.
Oh,
Go.
okay. Hot.
No, okay.
Sweaty, gross.
Sweaty, gross, hot. Hey, for the next 4 months. There you go, everyone. Okay.
You got it.
First piece of news, fresh off of the weekend, M3GAN 2.0, it premiered, it had an opening weekend, and it was a little bit of a box office flop, which was surprising because I wasn't expecting that, but apparently it only made $10 million domestically, whereas the first M3GAN in its opening weekend made $30 million, so that's only 1/3 of the gross, Tim.
I love that you're talking numbers with me when I had to go to algebra for summer school.
Well, this is just like comparing two things. There ain't no X or Y in this. But the question is that everybody's trying to figure out, not everybody, but people are wondering why it didn't perform as well as expected in the box office. The whole thing is that it still is probably going to make its budget back. Its budget was $25 million. And over time, it's probably going to keep making money. And when you put in global grosses, it's going to make its budget back.
VHS sales.
Yeah, VHS. When we go back to 1990 and do VHS sales.
Blockbuster rentals.
Exactly. So the question is why, and I guess we would like to ask you, why do you think it didn't make as much money as the original? These are some things that were mentioned.
We did our part. We showed up both times the films were released.
Yes, our review of M3GAN 2.0 is coming out on Monday, so tune in for that. And then in addition, we interviewed Jen Van Epps, who played Tess in both M3GAN and M3GAN 2.0, and that's coming out the following Monday. So we've got a ton of episodes like related to M3GAN, but...
Can you name another famous Tess?
No.
Tess McGill from Working Girl, played by Melanie Griffith.
You're right. And there's the scene when she's vacuuming topless. Yeah.
I don't remember that scene at all.
I was a kid, so seeing boobs was a big thing.
That was not in Working Girl.
That was in Working Girl.
Not Melanie Griffith?
Yes, Melanie Griffith.
Okay.
We're looking back.
Let us know.
Melanie Griffith in the comments. Okay. So some people are saying because the reviews weren't as good for M3GAN 2.0 that maybe that's why it didn't make as much money. Apparently, the common complaints were that there was a big genre swap with this movie versus the last one. The last one was straight horror, not gay horror, straight horror. And this one was a lot more like sci-fi action hero movie. And then also the fact that it was released in the summer versus January because it had to compete with like F1, that Brad Pitt movie.
I mean, do you have any desire to see that?
None.
Me either.
And you know what the funny thing is?
Brad Pitt.
But $55 million worth of people saw it this past weekend because it was top box office. It was the #1 box office movie of the weekend, $55 million. So
here's the thing. I could care less about fast cars.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Well, isn't it? I don't even know what it's about. Isn't it the story of
it's like a courtroom drama.
No, it isn't.
And like the car drives through the court.
And
it's crazy.
They're like F1.
That's right. And he goes, no further questions, Your Honor.
And then he says, you can't handle the F1. That's not it at all.
Wow.
Okay, so the question on everyone's mind is, will there be a future for M3GAN? Here's something that was announced before M3GAN 2.0 even was released, and now I'm wondering, are they rethinking this? So, before M3GAN 2.0 was even released, Blumhouse and Atomic Monster announced that they're doing a spin-off called Soulmate, with an 8 as the A in Soulmate.
Fun.
Get this, you're gonna love this because I know you love these movies. It's an erotic thriller in the vein of like 90s thrillers, but with a modern technological twist. Apparently, it centers on a man who, quote, acquires an artificially intelligent android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife, but inadvertently turns this harmless love bot into a deadly soulmate. I think that sounds kind of interesting.
But
it's like,
how is that M3GAN 3?
It isn't. It's a spin-off. So it's almost like, imagine M3GAN combined with the movie Companion.
Okay.
That's what it's going to be.
And also, I mean, as anyone knows me, my biggest movie that I love. The biggest.
The biggest movie.
It's called Deadly Friend from 1986.
Hey-bo.
And they also remember the movie it's called Tim.
Yes, the movie something manservant.
Right.
It was like
He's
it stood for, it was
manservant.
TIM and it stood for manservant. I just remember that. But
so I mean, I do like these kind of films, but
We'll see. I mean, the thing is, it is going to be directed by Kate Dolan, who directed the film You Are Not My Mother, which I think we reviewed and we were kind of like split on. But it already has a release date, January 2026.
That's around the corner.
I think
that's 6 months.
Yeah, if they're going to make this R-rated and it's like a little bit more of the adult version of M3GAN, meaning it's a love erotic type of thriller, I think they're going to get an audience. So I think they're going to keep this going. We don't know if M3GAN will continue. We'll see how the movie does.
What is your favorite 90s erotic thriller?
Oh my God.
Basic Instinct, Sliver.
Disclosure. Disclosure was
adults.
good. There's so many, and they're all good. Slither is one of my favorites, though. I loved the cameras.
Did you say Sliver?
Sliver.
I can see why you get that confused.
It is Sliver. Is there a movie called Slither?
There is, but it's about like worms.
Yeah. That was my favorite erotic thriller. Okay.
It's erotic.
So our next news story just recently dropped the first official teaser trailer for Hell House LLC Lineage. Now, it's a little confusing because they've already released like a tease clip. Sorry, they released a clip and a tease, but this is considered the first, I think, teaser trailer. It was 35 seconds long, and we both watched it. And the one thing I noticed from it is they mention that a pickup truck that I assume caused an accident and killed a girl in 1989, and everyone that was in that truck is being hunted down.
It's almost like this is what I gathered in those 35 seconds. I gathered that it's like a final destination, like they were supposed to die, so death's now getting them. Or it's like, what's the other film that's like, I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I got more of the idea because this still has to be related to the whole Hell House LLC series. So it can't be like death is coming after him. Maybe they caused the death of someone who was in the cult with Tully,
clown,
remember?
Perhaps?
Well, or someone who dressed up as a clown, and then maybe the cult is coming after everyone, or something supernatural is. I'm not sure, but it is there wasn't a lot in this, but it looked really cool. There was a lot of shots of the clown.
They also said right at the beginning, they were like, the scariest movie you've ever seen.
Yes.
So I'm like,
they are billing this as the scariest installment in the series. And writer-director Stephen Cognetti, who we actually had on the podcast a couple years ago, said, this is by far the biggest Hell House of the series, so experiencing it in a theater is definitely the best way to consume the final chapter. He also said, and I'm glad he addressed this, because everybody was wondering, why is this movie not found footage when the other 4 movies were found footage?
That's huge.
Yeah. He said, this is what his quote was, is that found footage was going to be too restrictive for this film, the film he wanted to make. He had so much in mind that he wanted to make, he couldn't have done it through found footage.
Because you have to add like another like element to like, okay, now why are they holding the camera?
Exactly.
So just eliminate all that.
Now, I mean, again, we talked about this before. I'm a little split on the decision I'm going to have to see this movie because I love this series. The first movie was incredible, outstanding. Second and third were okay. Fourth one was great, really scary. And I'm excited about this one. I'm a little concerned about the narrative format because Hell House LLC to me equals found footage. But you got to trust that Stephen Cognetti had an idea for what he wanted to do and wouldn't just make this change for the hell of it, you know? So we'll see. He promises viewers.
You just said the hell of it.
The Hell House LLC of it.
What a Hell House.
He promises viewers won't be disappointed by this change of format. But what I want to know is if someone is disappointed, is he going to give them their money back?
I mean, who knows?
But the good thing about this movie, they're bringing back a bunch of characters from the series. So if you're a fan of this series, the main star is going to be Vanessa Shepard from Hell House LLC 3 Lake of Fire. She's played by Elizabeth Familia. There's other people from the other movies coming back. Apparently a full-length trailer is coming at the end of July. And the biggest thing is that it is getting, we talked about this in a news commentary weeks ago when they first announced it, it is getting a limited theatrical release starting August 20th. Now, tickets aren't quite available, but you can get them at iconicreleasing.com. And guess what, Tim? I'm very excited because I checked the AMC app. We're big AMC people, and it's going to be playing at some AMCs.
That's great.
So we are going. Yeah. So we can.
I mean, I would see it if it wasn't, but it's what a nice perk.
And also, it's just like, now it's not one of those, like, you know, the movies that get theatrical releases and you like find one theater in all of LA.
Hey, go to the Lemley in Santa Monica.
It's always the fucking Lemley in Santa Monica. Yeah. This is going to actually be played in a lot of theaters, but only for like a week. So if you're interested in seeing this in the movie theater, and it sounds like it's going to be worth seeing in the movie theater, get your tickets. It's out August 20th. If you miss it that week, it's coming to Shudder in October.
If you miss it,
you need a hell of a something.
A hell of a house?
Hell of a...
LLC?
Yes, you need a... Or stop clowning around.
Uh-oh.
Okay. To a little bit more on the sad but hopeful news, Mark Patton, the star of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, he played Jesse, very memorable, iconic role. He needs everyone's help. And what happened is a GoFundMe was set up by his niece because he has been battling some serious health conditions. Now, if you're connected to Mark Patton on social media, like we are, he is very upfront about the health conditions he has and he's had to face through decades. And he has been through so much, and he has still continued to go to conventions, to give back to fans, to really be like a voice for the LGBTQ plus community in horror. And so this is our chance to give back to him. There's a GoFundMe page, and we're going to put the link in the description of this on YouTube. And basically the money raised, it goes to his ongoing treatments, medications, rent, groceries, etc. So it's a great cause. If you're a fan of Mark Patton, like, definitely donate. I mean, it's just sad to see him struggling.
I know. We both of us have seen Scream Queen by Nightmare on Elm Street many times, and you saw, like, he definitely has had some struggles. So I hate hearing this. He
did. I mean, after Nightmare on Elm Street 2, the whole thing was like people started to know he was out of the closet for real, and it kind of ruined his career, and he went to Mexico and disappeared for like decades. But then he came back, and this documentary Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, is all about like him and his life, and then kind of reclaiming his identity and coming back and like being proud of who he is, going to conventions and realizing he has an incredible fan base, and he kind of embraced the whole, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is the gayest Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, he kind of loves it, you know, because why not? It's a fun movie. So he was definitely kind of like a trailblazer for LGBTQ plus representation, especially in horror. And currently, and this is the good news that makes me feel very hopeful, they've already raised $22,495, and their goal is only $24,000.
That's great.
So they're very close. I mean, Tim, just open up your pocketbook.
Well, I mean, I'm not Kim Myers.
I'm sure she already donated.
No, I know. But no, that's the reason I know about this, is because Kim Myers promoted.
Oh, so because you guys are so close.
Me, Kim and Tim.
We did talk to Kim Myers earlier this year, one of our interviews, and she was just the sweetest angel.
Yeah, and she said nothing but good things to say about Mark.
They're so close. She went to a screening of that documentary that we were at also. Like, they support each other so much, so I'm sure she's donated. Okay, moving on to more. I know this is your favorite topic, Tim. Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot news. Tim,
if it ain't Christy Swanson, not interested.
No, Tim doesn't care, but a lot of people do. So we are reporting on it, and I'm one of those because I love Buffy the TV show. So Sarah Michelle Gellar was quoted as saying that she wants to bring back every character who has died for the Buffy reboot.
That's cool, because we can get Julie Benz.
Well, that's the thing. So she's determined to bring back characters even if they died. Her exact quote was, "We will try to find a balance between new and old characters in the reboot. My dream is to bring back everyone who has died, but space will have to be made for new stories as well." And here's the question. That quote is very much what we have to deal with all of these new reboots and requels. It's like, how much do you focus on the old versus new? I like when people focus on the old because that's what made it popular.
If I don't get Brandy, Julie, and Ray, I'm going to be furious.
And you mean I know what you did last summer? I'm like in Buffy?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't know anything about this Buffy Slayer.
But it's the thing is that when you're working off of nostalgia, you have to do some fan service, and a lot of that fan service is continuing the characters that we grew to love. Now, after this news broke, because that story, that quote that she gave is like kind of like a week old or so, but some characters from Buffy have even responded to this update. One of them was Julie Benz. Now, I just want to point out real quick, she actually said this on our show before she said this and it got in the news. She told us in our interview a few months back that she'd totally be up for reprising the character of Darla in the Buffy reboot. But recently she was on Charisma Carpenter's podcast, and that gets a little more news than
What?
us.
Oh, Charisma.
I know. And her Charisma Carpenter's podcast, and Charisma Carpenter played Cordelia in Buffy, and she said, quote, "I would do it again today if they called and offered me Vampire Girl #1, which was Darla, today in the reboot. I'd say, hell yeah, I'll do it." So that, of course, made news. We were hoping it would make news with our interview, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Happy whore time.
And then one more actor from the series. I didn't even remember this character, but actor James C. Leary, who played Clem. He was a peaceful demon who was on 8 episodes of Buffy over 2 of the seasons.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Your favorite episodes. He said, this is a funny quote. He's like, "Do I think they'll call me? No. Do I think they should? Yeah, I do." Now, I saw a picture of him in this article, and I still forgot who he was in this series.
He's in 8 episodes.
He was in 8 episodes. I only watched the entire series once. There are some people, like Jacob, has watched it multiple times. He probably would remember this character more than me. But anyway, the whole point of this is that ever since Sarah Michelle Gellar went on record saying she wants to bring people back, everyone who was in this series is like, "Hey, call me."
Right?
Tim, do you want to roll in there?
Yeah. Well, you know, I already was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Tell everyone real quick.
I was just a stand-in.
But you were a stand-in for...
Some guy that had crystal balls. I don't know.
Did you do this?
He was 3. There was part of like a 3 guys, and they were after Buffy. I don't know.
So...
But we're talking. This
okay,
is like,
so Tim Murdoch, would you be a stand-in for the reboot?
If they called me, I'd be like, yes.
Do I think they'll call me? No. Do I think they should?
Yes.
Anyway, okay. So this is kind of a funny piece of news. Filming has just wrapped on a new low-budget horror film called Minnie's Midnight Massacre.
I like that title.
Now, if you're wondering, is this Minnie Mouse? Yes, it is. In the grand tradition of playing off of characters that are now in the public domain, basically what they're doing is they're taking the Minnie Mouse version that was in Steamboat Willie and doing a movie focused on her. Apparently, it is being released by ITN Distribution, who's the same distributor that did Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
I liked that.
Yeah, the film apparently sees Minnie going on a killing spree to seek revenge on the bullies who tortured her as a teenager.
Wow.
Now, are we talking other mouses or people?
What kind of school?
Yeah, like
Mouse
I'm just
school?
like, did Minnie go to school with humans or with mice? So a lot of
questions need to be answered.
The writer-director Brett Bentman mentioned he did a little bit of a dig at, he's like, everyone's doing stuff on Steamboat Willie, but why not give Minnie the spotlight? Well, yes, but I mean, I'm sure if you had made a movie a few years ago, you would have probably gone for Steamboat Willie too, because that's the one people think of first. Minnie also was very important. She wasn't as important in the Steamboat Willie era, but like everyone is making horror movies now based off of characters.
It's an interesting niche of cinema that we're exploring.
It's always low budget and it's kind of hit or miss. We've seen some good ones. We've seen some not so good ones. The Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey ones, though, are very respectable. We are both impressed by them.
I saw it on the big screen and I was impressed.
Oh, you saw it? You mean we
Listen,
saw it?
I can't talk for you.
Okay, but they released the first image of Minnie in this movie, and we're going to put up this image for you, but Tim has not seen this yet, so I'm just going to show him. This is what she looks like.
I like it.
It is scary, but this makes me think it's going to be a girl that just wears a Minnie mask versus like Steamboat or Screamboat with David Howard Thornton actually as the mouse. Yeah. So I don't think she's going to be a mouse. I think she's going to be a girl with a mouse mask. That's what I'm getting from this image.
But I see like a red hair behind her. Like
that's what I mean. So she looks like a human.
But I like that. I like anything with big hair.
I think it looks scary. She looks scary in this, so we'll give it a whirl. No word on a release date yet, but probably next year.
I hope it doesn't go just to streaming. I like to see these movies on the big screen.
If it is from the same distributor as the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey movies, Winnie and his Pooh, then it may get a theatrical release. And again, as the years keep going by and more of these indie horror movies get theatrical releases, hey, we may have.
I think that's so cool because, like, I think everything should be seen on the big screen.
Everything, and even your home videos from the 80s.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so our last piece of news is just some fun news about some 4K Blu-ray releases that are coming this month or just were released. 2 movies that were huge at the box office that came out a few months ago, both big horror successes. are getting 4K Blu-ray releases.
That is so soon.
The first one is Final Destination Bloodlines, which we loved. I mean, I'm 100% buying this 4K Ultra HD
I don't have
Blu-ray.
a 4K player.
That's unfortunate. We do, and we are getting it. It comes out on July 22nd. So if you're a Final Destination fan, mark that date down. You can get the 4K release. And then Sinners, which was huge, such a groundbreaking movie
It's still in
that
the theaters.
even like non-horror people love this movie. And we didn't get a chance to review it because it came out around schedules when we had other things that we were releasing. But we really enjoyed this movie, and it is getting a collector's edition steelbook 4K release, and it's on July 8th, as in next week.
I like a steelbook.
So if you next week you can get Sinners, in a few weeks you can get Final Destination Bloodlines, and then 2 other random horror movies that are getting 4K releases now. The first one, Tim, you're gonna love this.
I already see it. Wow.
Species, as in the 1995 movie. And it's coming complete with an audio commentary from Natasha Henstridge, Michael Madsen, and the director Roger Donaldson.
What about Michelle Williams?
I know. I was thinking like she would never do an audio commentary, but I wonder if they didn't. I didn't get all the special features on it, but I'm wondering if they have an interview because I think it was her first movie.
I bet they have an old interview back from 1995.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Which isn't it crazy? Species is 30 years old.
Shocking. And the fact that, well, I guess it's been released on Blu-ray and stuff, but this is the first 4K release.
Well,
and
do you remember the sequel Species 2 with the hot
yes,
lead?
the hot guy
That's all I remember.
who had sex with everyone. Yes, I
like
remember
that.
that. I like that too. Okay, another movie getting a 4K release was, I think this is a movie I saw but you didn't. The 2023 movie When Evil Lurks. It's truly terrifying. It's about these 2 brothers that are trying to stop this like demonic possession from coming across Argentina, and it has some really shocking scenes. Did you ever see that?
No, but I am familiar with Argentina because Madonna sings about it. Don't cry for me.
I love that non sequitur. That's hilarious.
I have nothing. I didn't see it.
Okay, it is definitely worth seeing. It is shocking and it's very disturbing. So
I like
I'm
the title.
It really got a lot of hype when it came out in 2023, and it's getting a 4K release on July 28th. But speaking of When Evil Lurks, another piece of news related to it, last week it was announced that a sequel is in development. Apparently the writer-director Damien Rugna said that part 2 is already written. They're just waiting for funding to come through, and he said they have a few script modifications to make, but apparently the studio that wants to make it is already on board, yet he didn't say which studio that was.
Paramount Plus.
It is actually Shudder made the first one, Evil Lurks, so I would think they'd want to make it an exclusive, the sequel. But I think this movie, the sequel will be good because the first one was good. So we'll see when that comes out.
I don't know if that's always true.
That is a good call. You are 100% correct. Anyway, those are some of the horror news stories going on this week. We would love to know what you think about all of these things. Like, are you excited for the Buffy reboot bringing back dead characters? Not Tim. Did you catch the latest Hell House LLC teaser? Why do you think M3GAN 2.0 didn't do so well in the box office?
Are you gonna run out and get a 4K player?
Yeah, to watch Sinners and Final Destination Bloodlines. Anyway, leave us something, a comment or a note in the note in the comments, and like, subscribe, and all that shit.
Like, subscribe.
Exactly. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.